wondered if you're living your life to the fullest, or how much more there is to life in the world beyond the confines of your home country? I spent almost entirely my life in the confines of my home country. But almost a year ago today, I moved to the United States, a journey that reshaped my worldview. And so today, I would like to persuade you to travel internationally because it is a much needed experience that will boost your cultural diversity, your self-confidence, and your gratitude. Before we look at international travel through the lens of cultural diversity, confidence, and gratitude, I would like to outline the need for international travel. For many of us, we've never left the confines of our home countries. We've been so tightly bound by the shackles of familiarity and convenience that we dare not escape even for a moment. A research article published by Laura Silva on international travel outlined that around a quarter, precisely 27% of Americans have not traveled abroad. Well, you may say we have all the cultural diversity in America, but have you considered even for a second that the immense diverse people groups we so claim to possess have been so intricately Americanized? Well, look at me for one. Howdy. I've been so Americanized. I'm all Texan, and yet I'm only moved here a couple months ago with my cowboy hat and pants, and yet in my own culture, I cannot as much as show my knees. We've robed ourselves with entitlement and ethnocentrism. Cries of racism all echo our lack of cultural awareness. But how do we escape these cages? How do we move past our self-centeredness and value the cultural diversity all around us? And so to answer that, I would like to start by looking at international travel through the lens of cultural diversity. Before I moved here, the only foods I knew were my cultural staple foods, which honestly, it tasted like dirt. The meats were only reserved for special occasions. But despite the cow dung flavor that glazed that beef, gosh, the smiles on our faces were infinite. But can you imagine the delight on my face when for the very first time I tried fajitas, as the meat, the flavors and aroma just melted away in my mouth? I realized that life had a potential to be different, a potential to be enjoyed, to be lived in enjoyment and not strife. It took moving across countries to escape the narrow-mindedness that I had for life. And it could be the same for you. And next, I would like to view international travel through the lens of self-confidence. Well, you may say, how does international travel come along to boosting your self-confidence? Well, there is a pride and satisfaction to accomplishing things, especially hard things. And believe me, traveling can be complicated. But imagine the joy of telling extraordinary life stories of the places you've been, the foods you've tried, and the cultures you've experienced. You carry the potential to accomplish hard things. You carry the potential to push past your limits. I did it, and you can do it. Well, next, I would like to view international travel through the lens of gratitude. As you move through countries, you realize that the things that you may have taken for granted as basic essentials are not so basic in other places. Electricity, for one, it's just a click and boom, let there be light. In other places, it's only a luxury to be enjoyed by the wealthy. And so as you move through places, you realize that you ought to take things as a blessing and not for granted. I realized through moving here all the blessings that I missed in my country. And you too can learn to appreciate life. And so next I would like to show you that this is achievable. When I moved here, I had no prior travel documents. It took saving and planning for me to be able to accomplish this trip. And so I would like to show you that if I could do it through my childcare salary, I could move to the United States. If you saved only $10 weekly or monthly, you too, in a span of 2 years, could be able to afford a trip to the United States or to other parts of the world. And so as I conclude today, I would like to reecho that international travel is a much needed experience that you ought to have, because it will open your mind to the immense cultural diversity. It will boost your self-confidence and grant in you a character trait of gratitude. Well, you may be saying, but I'm afraid. I have anxiety. But what is life without risks? What is life if you cannot conquer your fears? So what are you going to say today? Are you going to let the shackles of anxiety and fear hold you back? Or are you going to choose to push past your limits? Are you going to choose to step out of your comfort zone and live life to the fullest? A famous Chinese philosopher once stated that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So will you choose to take that step and travel internationally? Thank you.